Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into pursuing yourself, finding identity beyond societal expectations. We're going to be breaking down the incredibly inspiring and honestly super relatable journey of Kairani Ashri from her awesome TEDx talk. Let's get right into it.
So, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or, what do you want to do with your life? Just hearing that question can make your heart rate spike a little bit, right? It's a question we get hit with constantly from the time we're kids. Well, if you had asked Kairani this exact question about 10 years ago, she would have had absolutely zero answers for you. She was just an O-level student trying to figure things out. Or, actually scratch that. She was really just trying to enjoy her life. And the future was just this big, scary blank slate.
Traditional paths versus Kairani's reality. It's a pretty stark contrast. See, she had the privilege of going to one of the most prestigious schools in Brunei. And in that kind of bubble, literally all her peers had their traditional career paths completely locked in. They were going to be doctors, lawyers, accountants, the whole shebang. But Kairani? She was a choir captain. She was head of field performance. She absolutely lived for being on stage and performing. But academically? Yeah, she was not exactly your A-star student. She was skipping classes and genuinely struggling to keep her head above water with the standard curriculum.
Just 2 more years. Man, knowing she was struggling so much, Kairani actually wanted to transfer schools after her O-levels. She just knew that doing A-levels at this hyper-competitive academic institution was going to be a total disaster for her. But society and, well-meaning adults, they have this way of pushing back with that one incredibly heavy phrase, just 2 more years. The pressure from her parents and teachers was immense. They essentially convinced her to tough it out simply for the prestige of the school, telling her universities would just eat it up. So she bought into it, but deep down, she was completely lost. She didn't even have a clue what major she'd pick if she actually made it into a university.
The closet crisis. An overflowing closet, vomiting clothes, selling clothes online to 100 followers, joy found in logistics, packing, and delivering, and the tedium of taking photos. Okay, so while she's drowning in this academic pressure, she runs into a bizarre problem. She loved thrifting, and her closet was literally bursting, like practically vomiting clothes. Knowing she couldn't just hand the problem off to someone else, she tackled it herself and started a tiny venture just for kicks. She set up a platform to sell her stuff to her massive audience of, drumroll please, 100 followers. But here is the crazy part. This is exactly where she found her spark. Taking the photos, super tedious, but the logistics, she loved it. She found pure joy in packing the items and delivering them. It was a complete 180 from the total dread she felt sitting in a classroom.
O-levels, thrifting for fun. Age 18, official business license. Today, personal shopping and VIP community. This little side hustle totally snowballed. During O-levels, it was just fun, something she juggled alongside those dreaded A-levels. But she got so hooked on it that she literally could not wait to turn 18. Why? Because the very first thing she did, as a birthday gift to herself, was go out and register for an official business license. That piece of paper was a huge milestone. It marked her official leap from a kid selling old clothes out of her bedroom to the leader of a VIP personal shopping community.
Step 1, relying on motivation. Step 2, committing to the work. Step 3, building discipline. You see, the second she signed that business license, a massive psychological shift happened. When it was just a hobby, she could coast on motivation. Feel like packing boxes today? Great. Don't feel like it? No big deal. But making it official meant she was locked in. She had to figure out how to turn that fleeting, sometimes there, sometimes not motivation, into ironclad discipline. She realized, hey, whether I'm feeling it today or not, I have to show up. I signed up for this. And that takes real, serious discipline.
The pivot from thrifting to personal shopping. Now, any successful venture requires you to adapt, right? Kairani quickly figured out that a pure thrifting business just wasn't going to scale, at least not where she lived in Brunei. She knew she had to pivot, but the million-dollar question was, to what? Well, the answer actually found her organically. During one of her family's regular biannual trips, a customer randomly asked, "Hey, can you buy this for me? I'll pay the price for it." That one tiny question was an absolute light bulb moment. She tested the waters, the feedback was fantastic, and boom, she realized there was this massive, untapped market for personal shopping.
10,000. Just let that number sink in for a second. What started as a fun little way to clean out a messy closet for 100 followers absolutely exploded. By just showing up day after day and putting in the work, she built a VIP community that eventually hit almost 10,000 members. That is wild. And honestly, it completely validated her choice to take an unconventional path. Fulfilling those orders and seeing her customers so happy gave her the exact kind of fulfillment that traditional academics completely failed to provide. bridging the gap between potential and privilege. Now, this is what makes Hirani's approach so uniquely awesome. She realized that just running a transactional business, just buying and selling stuff, was kind of boring for her. She wanted to give back in a bigger way. Because of her hard work, she was suddenly getting invited into these privileged rooms and exclusive events that most people never get access to. So what did she do? She used her platform of 10,000 members to bridge that gap. Every single time she walked out of one of those exclusive rooms, she went straight back to her community and shared her top 3 takeaways. She essentially turned a shopping group into a massive space for shared growth. Societal pressure in Brunei versus her inner voice. So, you'd think everything is just going flawlessly now, right? Well, not exactly. Internal success doesn't always magically turn off the external noise. Over in Brunei, owning a business like hers wasn't really viewed as a valid career path. The expectation was crystal clear. Go get a stable government job, maybe study law, secure those guaranteed benefits. Her business, society looked at it and just saw instability. So she's fighting this intense internal battle, listening to the outside world, including her own parents who are telling her to quit because it's quote-unquote too hard, while her inner voice is screaming that this business is what actually gives her true joy.
Life is hard. It is a matter of choosing your hard. This right here is Kairani's core philosophy, and wow, is it powerful. When her parents told her running a business was too hard, she had this realization. She thought, well, they aren't the ones doing it. But more importantly, she realized that no room you ever enter is easy, and no job you ever take is entirely without its struggles. The secret to life isn't finding some magical, easy path. It's about consciously choosing a difficulty that actually aligns with your inner voice.
Eating healthy is hard, but staying unfit is hard. Reading is hard, but being unknowledgeable is hard. Starting a venture for joy is hard, but staying in a draining comfort zone is hard. She just hit the nail on the head with these comparisons. Since every single path requires effort and struggle, you can't avoid the hard stuff. You just can't. What you can do is consciously choose the struggle that actually brings you fulfillment at the end of the day.
It wasn't about finding the perfect plan. It was about finding myself. And that is really the ultimate macro lesson from Kairani's whole journey. Back when she was a stressed-out student, she honestly thought the goal was to listen to all the adults and construct this flawless, perfect life plan. But she figured out that true alignment only happens when you tune out all that external noise. It wasn't about the plan at all. She had to stop trying to force herself into that traditional A-level box, and instead just embrace the person she actually was. Someone who absolutely thrived on logistics, community building, and personal shopping.
There is a quote from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power that perfectly captures this whole vibe. Do not accept the roles that society force on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. Kairani mentioned how heavily this resonated with her. Right after her O-levels, she had no clue who she was, so she just let everyone else define success for her, which pushed her down a totally miserable path. It was only when she boldly rejected that forced role that she finally started to thrive.
Does this bring me joy? Does this align with me? So, where does all of this leave us? Well, Kairani's message to you is this. If you're sitting there feeling a bit lost and you don't know what your next move should be, don't panic. Take a breath. You still have yourself. Take a moment to pause, look inwards, and ask yourself these 2 massive questions. Does this bring me joy? Does this align with me? Now, the answers might not hit you like a lightning bolt right away, and that's okay. Kairani didn't know how to run a massive business overnight either. But if you keep asking those questions, eventually you're going to find your answer.
Society has already written a script for you. Are you going to read it, or will you choose your own hard? I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. The script society wrote for you, it's safe, it's totally conventional, and it's exactly what everyone expects. But are you just going to blindly read from it? Or are you going to be brave enough to step off the stage, listen to your own inner voice, and choose your own hard? Finding yourself is never the easiest route, but I promise you, it's the only one worth taking. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. I hope you walk away feeling totally empowered to start forging your own unconventional path today. Catch you next time.